Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Start over. Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over the quarterfinals team builder for the second season of the UPA D-League. For the quarterfinals, we will be going up against Blitz, coach of the Toronto Tyranitars. And yeah, so obviously we already played Blitz. We're rematching the Battle of the Six, and yeah. Our last game against Blitz, we did end up winning, which I'm already not a big fan of, but we kind of won like in a very, very questionable way with Blitz missing a lot of icicle crashes on our tornadoes. But yeah, that's beside the point. That's in the past. We're here. We need to play the quarterfinals game because it's officially playoffs, baby. If we win, we move on, and if we lose, we are done. And we do not want to be done. We want to make it as far as we absolutely can, and we definitely want to try to promote to the main league. So we definitely have to prep our best, which is unfortunate because school was a bitch this week, so that's really bad, unfortunately. But yeah, on the flip side, obviously Blitz probably wants to make it to main league as well, or at least he wants to make it far into D-League and potentially win a championship. So yeah, you know what? That's enough of the backstory crap. Let's just go over Blitz's team because it is quite threatening. So he luckily did not make any changes from our last match, so his roster is the exact same. He drafted Mega Gardevoir, Salamence, Scolipede, Manaphy, Ferrothorn, Snorlax, Rotom-Mow, Donphan, Emboar, and Piloswine, with his Z-move users being Salamence and Scolipede. So he has a lot of big threats on his team. Biggest threat, in my opinion, is probably the Mega Gardevoir still, even though I did make some transactions that make my matchup against it a little bit better. It's still a very potent threat. And then definitely next up is Salamence, because basically because like it's hard to prep for most variants of Salamence, like, or at least like trying to prep for every single variant of Salamence you could possibly think of. It's a really difficult task to ask for, unfortunately. And then he does have the Manaphy, which ended up being a pretty big threat last time, just with the way I ended up, with the way I ended up having to deal with it. With my transactions that I made on my team, in my opinion, it's slightly easier to deal with, and Manaphy has definitely a harder time trying to find a time to set up, basically, other than in front of Skarmory. But yeah, so and then like past that, there's like a lot of different things that he could bring. Like he's brought his dual ground core like to almost every game. I can only count like I think 3 times when I was looking through the replays where he didn't bring both ground types, and in those three games he still brought one of them. So yeah, like I kind of expected. He brought dual ground against me last time, probably for the Jolteon. Hard to say whether he does the same thing now that I have a Azumarill, but yeah, like again, like I've been saying, like pretty much throughout the past like few weeks, not few weeks, like pretty much since my game against Bird, honestly, or maybe not against Bird, maybe against Justin. Yeah, that sounds more accurate. Like pretty much since my game against Justin, I basically said like my opponent has like a lot of like tier 1A and like 1B and 1C threats that like there's nothing that I can fully rule out, in all honesty. So like I had to prep for absolutely everything that I could think of. So I ended up having to do that, and let's go over the team builder right now. So, oh crap. So first off, there's a few sets that are the same, one of which being Skarmory. It's not quite the same, but it's very similar. So like I said the last time, he has a Scolipede. This is pretty much an auto bring against a team with a Scolipede, as Scolipede definitely has a hard time breaking through Skarmory's. And then we have Stealth Rock as obvious Stealth Rock, as well as it's really important for getting the 25% off on the Scolipede, which is nice. Defog for his own rocks, and then Roost for some recovery, and then Brave Bird to dent his basically to dent his Scolipede. This is like honestly, Skarmory again is like one of the best Scolipede answers you could probably ask for in the entire game. Which is really unfortunate because Manaphy kind of takes advantage of Skarmory. But yeah, so it's a pretty standard stuff. The main difference here this time though is our speed investment. So we are minus speed with only 6 IVs, as that's the max speed we can be to underspeed his ground types. So that way they cannot Earthquake on our Roosts, which will be very nice. As that was Blitz's plan last time, to try to stall me out with this Piloswine on my Skarmory, was to be able to Earthquake on my Roost. But with this speed investment, unless they are also minus speed nature, I can't do anything. But like even minus speed nature with 31 IVs is still slower, or yeah, that's still slower than if I were to run like no EVs into speed. So there's nothing I can do about that if he decides to go that route, but I decided to take the precautions that I needed to be able to ensure that I can still safely roost on his ground types. So yeah, again, not too much to say on this Skarmory set. It was pretty obvious seeing that Scolipede there. Next up, we have a pretty funky Delphox spread, which I unfortunately cannot take credit for. My favorite PokeTuber, Lars, aka El Scizor, he ended up using this specific Delphox set against Coach Z last season of the GBA, when he also went up against a specifically Mega Gardevoir, but it's actually just coincidence that Coach Z also had Manaphy on that team. But yes, this is definitely going to be my Mega Gardevoir answer. As with this special defense investment, Hyper Voice is not nearly as free, as I do resist both of its stabs. So the best thing he could do is Shadow Ball, which we have the Cassie Berry for, which since we do have enough speed to outspeed max speed Gardevoir, we can guarantee get a Calm Mind off before he goes for oh my goodness, for Shadow Ball. So basically, we have enough investment here to be able to switch into Hyper Voice, Calm Mind on his Shadow Ball for him to break the Castleberry, and then for me to click Mystical Fire to lower his special attack even more. And then yeah, we also have and then he also used Wish to basically just to heal up in case the opportunity presented itself. And then like honestly, like Fire Psychic coverage is actually really good against this team, just in general. Like Mega Gardevoir is neutral to Fire, plus like the utility of Mystical Fire is like the only reason for Mega Gardevoir is here. Salamence is neutral to Psychic, Scolipede is weak to both, Manaphy neutral to Psychic, Ferrothorn 4 times weak to Fire, Snorlax neutral to Psychic if he's not thick fat, Rotomo weak to Fire, Donphan neutral to Psychic, Emboar weak against Psychic, and Piloswine neutral to Psychic. And even neutral to Fire, just because of thick fat. But yeah, so like Fire Psychic coverage was actually really good against Blitz's team. He did bring max HP Gardevoir last time, so I did consider like the difference between Mystical Fire and like Flamethrower. But at +1 they both break this. At +1 they both break a sub, and they both. Oh my goodness! If he is offensive Gardevoir, then both of them also have a chance to guaranteed to hit KO. If he's offensive. So Mystical Fire, definitely just for the utility of lowering Mega Gardevoir. Special attack is definitely where I want it to be. Even if he does switch in Manaphy, then he does end up going to then he does also lose special attack on that, so his Tail Glows only bring him to +2, which is still scary, but not nearly as scary as +3. So yeah, it was a cool Delphox set that I saw. Like someone I idolize in the community that I saw him use, so I figured I'd give it a try. I knew making this transaction that it was definitely going to be a switch into Mega Gardevoir if I did end up playing Blitz again. So yeah, I thought that like this was kind of like the no-brainer set for Delphox this match. Assault Vest was also kind of considered, but if he brings Psyshock, then it's not nearly as good. Plus, just being able to get like less damage off the first Shadow Ball should Blitz choose to bring it was always really good, and then Mystical Fire to lower the special attack. So yeah, that's the Delphox set. It's really cool, so I'm really glad I'm going to be able to get to use this. And then next up, we have another same set, actually. This is the same Mega Gallade set I used against Blitz in the first match. Actually, the exact same as last time. Didn't change a thing. Like this, like I tried, I really did, but this is honestly just the best. This is just the best Mega Gallade set against Blitz. Close combat's guaranteed to hit KO on even max physically defensive. Oh my goodness, max physically defensive Snorlax. It guaranteed 2 hit KOs, if not one-shots, pretty much everything with the coverage here, barring the Shadow Sneak, obviously. But like I said from last time, he does have the Scolipede, which can speed boost and is already naturally faster than me anyways. We have enough bulk investment that I can take anything unboosted from a Scolipede, even if he's Life Orb, so if I'm at full HP and that situation comes down to it, I do guarantee knockout with Zen Headbutt. Like I said in the last time as well, Blitz's speed tiers are a lot worse than mine in this match. It's most notably, it's just to the point where, like, especially on his fast mons, so like his top 4, like the Gardevoir, Salamence, Scolipede, Manaphy, they pretty much have to be max, or in Scolipede's case, really close to it, just because of the way my speed tiers work out. So yeah, like it's just one of the nice advantages of basically being able to calc for this match. And then like honestly, after the Manaphy, like the 3 Pokemon at base 100, like his speed tiers just drop right the fuck off. He drops right to Rotom at 86, and then to Emboar at 65, and then he has his 2 ground types are 50, Snorlax at 30, and Ferrothorn at 20. So yeah, my speed tiers are a lot better than his still. But anyways, so like I said, like the Scolipede, if it's at a weakened point, Shadow Sneak can pick it off. And then at the same time, Shadow Sneak does, it's a guarantee on offensive Mega Gardevoir. It guarantees, it guarantees a 2-hit KO. So basically, if he speed passes, and also Poison Jab's a guarantee OHKO on offensive Mega Gardevoir. I think it does like, it's somewhere to 75 to 80 max, or sorry, 80 min if he's max HP like last time. But yeah, so like I said, if he does end up speed passing into the Gardevoir, then I can Shadow Sneak to pick that off, so that's always nice. And then like the same thing, if he's Dragon Dance Salamence, I can pick it off if it's weakened. Like Shadow Sneak is just a pretty good safety net considering his considering his team. Like Scarf Emboar could be an issue, but if that's weakened, then Shadow Sneak could pick it off. Like priority is actually relatively important in this game, just for like his potential Scarf threats, and then like his potential for speed passing with Scolipede. So yeah. Again, like, I already explained most of this in my first video, but yeah, this was definitely, like, this is just still the best Mechagoblade set against Blitz, so I didn't really feel like there was a need to change it. Next up, we do have a new addition to the to the team, which is something I'm kind of, like, not sure of, and the only thing that I'm not sure of is definitely this. So, we do have our Azumarill here, which, like I said, he's brought his dual ground types to close to every match, and I am hopefully looking to exploit that, as Azumarill doesn't take too much from either of them, and can fire off really powerful hits. He was Rocky Helmet Donphan last time, so Protective Pads does stop for that, but the main reason we are Protective Pads is for the Ferrothorn. He didn't bring it last time against me. I'm not too sure why. I'm not sure if it was just because he anticipated Heat Wave on Tornadus, or because he thought Megagoblade took advantage of it. And like in my opinion, had a worse fire type on my team at the point in Megborder. Like, I think Megborder is good, but Delphox is definitely better. But yeah, he didn't bring the Ferrothorn last time. I'm still not sure whether he brings it now that I have a fire type, which in my opinion is definitely coming in the match, but at the same time, his Ferrothorn is definitely the thing that wants to take hits from Azumarill the best. So we are Protective Pads to stop him from getting chip damage from the Iron Barbs, and if he does have Rocky Helmet on that as well, it stops it. But I'm most likely going to click Knockoff, especially like if I see the Ferrothorn there and I get my Azumarill in, I'm definitely clicking Knockoff first to get rid of either, like, Rocky Helmet wouldn't really matter for Azumarill, but to get rid of leftovers if he has it. It's really cool just so that way, like, Azumarill's tough for him to not necessarily revenge kill, but it's tough for him to revenge kill from full. So being able to not take any Iron Barbs damage from him potentially switching in his Ferrothorn, or potentially his Rocky Helmet Donphan, or like anything Rocky Helmet if he has it, is really cool. So I definitely want to stop him from being able to revenge kill this a lot easier. So yeah, and then we just have the 4 attacks that make the most sense: Liquidation and Play Rough for stabs. And then again, like I said, Knockoff, just for honestly the general utility of Knockoff. And then again, with the whole explanation of how important Shadow Sneak was on Megagoblade, Aqua Jet kind of serves a similar purpose. And then like can kind of bypass the priority on Donphan and Piloswine, not that that's really going to matter, as those will, will do like pretty negligible damage. But yeah, the speed is here. For a no speed Emboar, even though I don't really particularly see no speed Emboar coming. But yeah, I needed a spot to speed creep to, because oh my goodness, I can't think. So like, I haven't necessarily done it this season, but like in GPC, if Blitz went and watched all of my old videos, in GPC I did like to run pretty much always 20 speed EVs into my slow Pokemon to like mess with speed creeping. So if he decides to go if he decides to try to creep my creep, then things could get an issue. So I wasn't really sure how much speed I wanted to put on this. So in the end, I just decided to just speed creep no speed Emboar, just for the odd reason that he would decide to bring that. We are faster than that. So yeah. That is a Azumarill for you. Relatively straightforward, barring the explanation of Protective Pads, but yeah. Next up, we have a not quite the exact same, but a very similar Tornadus, and there's only one difference, because the spread is the exact same, because like I said, this is definitely like it's just the best Tornadus set for this match, because prepping for Salamence is such a bitch, and like this was definitely the thing that could do it last time. Like I said in the last match, even if he is +1 Salamence, Outrage cannot kill. Obviously Z Outrage could. If he's +1, any of his Z moves probably could kill me, so I would have to watch out for that. He was Scarf Salamence last time, could potentially be Z this time, so unfortunately I will have to scout for that. But yeah, it's kind of the same thought. So +1 Outrage at this, like with this investment, cannot kill me. So if he locks into Outrage, kill something, and then gets the boost, A, he's risking a free switch into my Azumarill, and B, even if that Azumarill is already down, then then I do go into Tornadus, and he, again, I have the bulk to take +1, oh my god, I keep repeating myself. I have the bulk to take +1 Outrage. If he's either Scarf, then I click Icy Wind, and it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO. Oh my god, I need to fucking speed this up. I click Icy Wind as a 2-hit KO. If he's Scarf, he goes down to neutral speed, in which I outspeed that since I'm creeping his 100s. And then, like, same thing. Like, if he's, like, +1, then he goes to neutral, and then same deal. Basically, Icy Wind is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which also stops him from completely sweeping me. And then, yeah, like I said, we're speed creeping his 100s because, again, let's be real, if I switch this in on a Scolipede, then he's protecting turn 1. That's just obvious. So there was no point in, like, wasting the however many EVs I was going to have to creep the Scolipede. And it definitely lets us bring the necessary bulk needed to be able to basically check all variants of Salamence. I am still Fire MC Heat Wave this time. It was pretty useless last time because he didn't bring the Ferrothorn. Again, like, I still think it's a very, like, it's a much more likely bring this time around since I do have the Azumarill. And this is definitely my best switch into the, Ferrothorn. As even Gyro Ball is only doing like 35% max, so basically Heat Wave into Z Heat Wave is a guaranteed knockout even if he's like maxed up Akaberry, but Z Heat Wave is a guaranteed OHKO if he's not Akaberry, basically. So Heat Wave on its own is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is important to me to have. And if I have the Z, like, even if he's just max Spadef, like, all of my other moves do way too little to it. Even Z Focus Blast does nothing to it. Like, it does like 53 max. Like, Z Focus Blast is the same, is like a similar role to regular Heat Wave. So I definitely thought I needed Heat Wave, if nothing else, for the Ferrothorn. As once the Ferrothorn's out of the way, then my Azumarill definitely has a good time. So yeah, and then the only different thing, obviously we have Icy Wind like I explained before, and then Hurricane, and the only thing different is we don't have Taunt this time. We do have U-Turn. As honestly, looking at the rest of his Pokemon, like, the only thing I might want the Taunt for, like, other than the Ferrothorn, obviously, but I mean, Ferrothorn's pretty threatened out from Heat Wave, so I don't think there's a big chance that he would stay in. And then the only other thing that realistically I could see myself clicking Taunt on is Donphan, but he can always Ice Shard on my Taunt, so like Ice Shard isn't doing a ridiculous amount, but it still goes before my Taunt, so it would be kind of a wasted turn and basically a free Ice Shard damage for no reason. And then same thing with Piloswine, I could potentially stop him from clicking Rocks, but like he's realistically probably going to click Icicle Crash on my Tornadus, so not too much point in clicking Taunt on that. I kind of went like way too in depth for this for a set that I've pretty much already brought, barring like there's no Taunt, there's U-Turn this time. But yeah, it was just, in my opinion, the best set that I could ask for in this match. So, and it, like, again, it's kind of the blanket Salamence answer. It's also a really good Ferrothorn answer, surprisingly, since its attacks don't do too much. Power Whip is resisted. Knockoff doesn't do much because I'm holding Z, and then even Gyro Ball doesn't do too much just because of my investment. So yeah. That's Tornadus. And finally, we have a member that was on the bench last time, and something that is ironically something I haven't really brought a lot, which is just straight up offensive Jolteon. I think the last time I brought this was against, oh my god, African Goku back in week 2 when there was the the speed creep gate with his Baton Pass Mega Mawile, which was definitely gonna sweep me if he had unfortunately not miss-EV'd his Mega Mawile. But yeah, so anyways, we're pretty offensive because without this, Manaphy was looking to be a much bigger threat since we're not bringing Diggersby this time. The only thing Diggersby did last time was be able to outspeed Manaphy and make sure it was in range of my oh my goodness, of my Mega Gallade. So yeah, I thought this would be a better basically just a better way of stopping that. Thunderbolt obviously it's actually a roll to KO, I believe. I don't remember if it can KO offensive Manaphy. I'm pretty sure it's a roll to KO max HP Manaphy. It's not a very high roll, but it's still a roll. So I think I will have to watch out for Wakanberry potentially if he's left over. Like I guess a good way to scout for Wakanberry, because if he's Wakanberry and already set up, he's definitely staying in on my Jolteon. So I guess a good way to scout for that would just be to use Volt Switch, so that way it either breaks Wakan or gets him a huge chunk off, and then unfortunately at that point I would definitely have to sack something, but then at least we know what the Manaphy set is. And yeah, we have HP Ice for the Salamence, and then we have Toxic because, like I said, he's brought dual grounds basically like close to every single game. There's a good chance he brings them here because I think, like, in my opinion, I think I've used Jolteon relatively well this season, and I think he's going to see that. So just to try to not to deal with it, he might bring his dual grounds, but I'm perfectly fine with running Toxic. There's not really another coverage move it needs, as I can always Volt Switch out. Even if he switches in Mega Gardevoir to this, like, honestly, with Max Investment Magnet, Thunderbolt's the same rule as Shadow Ball anyways. So I can always Volt Switch on it and then switch into my dedicated switch, which is my which is my Delphox anyways. So I'm not too worried about that. Toxic was definitely the play on here, and yeah. So that is the team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How do you guys think the match is going to play out? This is playoffs. Let me know what you guys think. If we win, we go home, or if we win, we move on. And unfortunately, if we lose, we go home. We definitely want to win, and we definitely should still wish good luck and have fun to our opponent, Blitz. So yeah, keep your guys' eyes out on the channel next week for when, or not next week, tomorrow for when the battle versus Blitz goes live. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.